By the end of this course, your setup should look something like this. In this episode, I walk Kirk through all the equipment needed step by step. We'll cover light stands, key lights and sound setup, making sure you're fully prepared to create high quality recordings. This will be hands-on, so I'll jump in now and then to guide you through each step. Let's get started with episode 1. So we're going to start with the very basics. So this is a light stand. Spread the legs out, get that locked off.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, you always start from the top.
Yeah.
And you just
start from the top.
Start from the top and lock them off like
Okay.
so, and just make sure they are quite tight. And you should really use like some sort of weight at the bottom if you've got a heavy light on there. So that's a light stand.
Start from the top.
So this is another light stand, which is slightly different to the other one. So
Yeah.
we'll just have a look at this. So the only difference with
This one looks a little bit smaller.
Slightly
as well.
smaller.
Yeah.
You just open the legs, twist that to lock it off.
Yeah.
And then these ones, rather than a turn, it's just a
Top first. Yeah.
yeah.
Got it.
And that's it, pretty much. So obviously there's hundreds of different light stands that you can use.
They weren't too expensive.
No.
So
Yeah, yeah, and they'll do the job nicely. This is an adjustable ball head, so you can move the light into a direction
into
where
position,
you might want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that basically just goes onto here like so,
Okay.
and we just screw that on like that.
Okay. That's good.
So next we're going to move on to lighting, and we're going to start with the key light.
Okay.
So the key light is basically the most important light because essentially it illuminates the subject, which in case is yourself.
Yeah. And this is the key light, did you say?
Key light.
Key light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this basically is, it's the most important light because it essentially is lighting you out of all the other lights.
This is the one that's on the subject,
Exactly.
essentially.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
Would you go to the extent of using that when you're on like an important Zoom call or a presentation on Zoom?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this will always be used to light you up, basically.
And why is that important to get the lighting right?
So essentially lighting is so important. If you can light it well, basically you could use an iPhone or a DSLR. It really doesn't matter. If the lighting is good, it will look really nice. Which is why, if you have a dark room and try use an iPhone, you've got no chance. Whereas if you used like a DSLR, you might have some hope of getting an okay shot.
When I see, that makes sense. When I see films that are really lighted well, it almost makes me trust the subject a little bit more as well, what they're saying. If that makes sense, which is really important with our business is trust.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you can improve your image visually, it's going to have such an impact on what that person thinks.
Engagement.
Yeah. So this is essentially a massive spotlight or a hard light. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a big softbox on it.
Okay.
Once we get that out, and that'll make it really soft rather than like the sun.
It's quite impressive we had quite a small budget for this, so it's quite impressive that is within our budget. Actually.
Yeah. And to be fair, with a light like this, you could make it look quite good. By itself.
Yeah.
This will do 90% of the work.
Okay.
Even just with one light.
Sounds good.
So we'll get that on the stand, and then we'll set up some other stuff. This can rotate, and then you've got to lock it off.
Okay.
And essentially, this will just go straight onto your stand, and then we'll put the softbox on in a minute.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I'll bring the stand in, and this is the stand that we will want to use because this has got the spigot. This is called a spigot. Sometimes it has a thread on, but this will basically just go straight onto the top of that.
Yeah. And this is the bigger stand.
This is the bigger stand out of the two.
Okay.
Yeah. The other two stands are slightly smaller.
A small rig,
Yeah. That's just the brand.
Oh,
and
okay.
That's simply slips on like that.
Yeah.
And then we just use the thumb screw to lock that up.
Okay, yeah.
And then that's secured on.
Yeah, sounds good.
So on the other side, we have the protective cover. we just basically pull that and twist, and that comes off, and that reveals the
light,
the LED light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the softbox basically goes back on and twist.
Okay.
There are other attachments. So this is basically if you want to control the light a little bit more, but this would still be really harsh by itself. I wouldn't suggest, unless you're bouncing this off into a reflector or a wall, you won't need this.
What, you won't need this thing?
You won't need
okay,
this,
right.
Yeah, because we've bought a softbox which
To
will
put
basically
it on the
go
top.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So then we have the power lead, which basically goes into the back,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
here. That goes on, and then we just plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
So we plugged it in. We're going to turn it on.
Yep.
There's the on-off button, and then we've got your brightness levels.
So the percentage,
The percentage, yeah.
Okay.
And you'll be able to see how bright this thing goes. So if we bounce that up, so I'm just going to loosen that off, and then you'll see how
That is bright.
that goes. Yeah, you want sunglasses.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'll just show you what it looks like with this on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kirk.
It's okay. It gives a bit
so-
more sort of target.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
just homing in that light,
Yeah.
so it's not just spilling everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you'll be able to see how bright that really is. But
Yeah, it
once we
is,
get the
yeah.
softbox on, that will really diffuse it.
Okay.
It's got the temperature on the back.
Is that something we need to be aware of?
Not really.
No.
No, unless it's catching fire, then obviously there's an issue.
How long can you keep it on for?
It will run for as long
Okay.
as you need.
Okay, yeah. So,
at 100%.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
There's no need to worry about that. So next we're going to put on the softbox onto
Okay.
the hard light. So basically this is a softbox.
Yeah.
It will go on there, which is called a Bowen's mount. Not that you really need to know that, but
And what's the purpose of the softbox?
this is essentially softening this hard light.
Softer the light. Yeah.
And makes, so the softer the light, essentially the better it's going to look on your face.
Right. Okay.
Harsh light on a face is not a good thing.
Okay. Especially my face.
Right, so we just pull this off. So this is
Yeah.
the Bowen's mount.
Okay.
Essentially that just goes onto there,
Yeah.
and we'll clip that in a minute. But all we do with this, we just pull these out like that. They click into place.
Oh, are they bending?
Yeah, they're bending, exactly,
Okay.
and they're just locking in,
Yeah.
and that basically is opening that up
Okay.
as much as possible, and they just click. You can't really hear the click, but
Can I give it a go?
yeah, give it a go. So if you want to stand that
Yeah.
side,
So you put this one, and then you just bend it like this.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And has that clicked?
Let's,
Oh, no, no.
let's have a look. So no, not quite. Just bring it up a bit more.
Keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I'm going to break it.
That's it. Yeah, you're in.
That's in.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
So and just keep going.
Is that one?
No, that didn't quite click. That's it.
Oh,
There is a
okay.
bit of a technique to this.
Yeah.
So you just kind of hold this really firm.
Yeah.
Bring it up,
Yeah.
and then just keep going until
Okay,
you see
yeah.
it kind of like flip.
That's fine. I'm going to break
no,
it.
no, they're pretty robust.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting there.
And let
Yeah.
me just
Yeah.
check that this is basically
yeah,
it's
okay,
quite
yeah.
rigid. So you do really need to make sure that you are giving it a bit of
I'll let you do the rest.
Okay. And then once that's done, and basically what this is doing is it's turned this light
Yeah.
into a much bigger source of light
Okay.
because it's nice, big and round. And the bigger this is,
Yeah.
the softer the light, the nicer it will look. Like
Okay.
if you have loads of room, I would have got a bigger one of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a 1 meter kind of circle, but this is probably the biggest we could have used within this space.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the space really isn't that big.
Taking it down, do I have to go to the, can I just keep it up? Or?
Yeah. So what we'll try and do is put it in a place where you can just always keep it.
Yeah.
So this is the next part, which is essentially diffusion. So what this does, because essentially this would, if we just put this on the light now, this would have been the same as this would just be a bigger version of this.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this on, which basically, Kirk, if you can just hold that like that.
Yeah.
This basically just goes on the inner edge of the Velcro, and you basically just put that on like that.
And this softens it.
Yeah,
even
this
more.
diffuses the light, basically. Yeah, diffuses it, which is essentially softening it.
Okay.
And the more layers of diffusion you add, essentially the softer the light source. So some people will put a light up like this, and then they'll put like another piece of fabric over this
on the top
to diffuse it even further. Yeah.
But you don't think we need that in our offices?
No. Well, we haven't got the space,
Okay.
essentially. So we're kind of working within the limits of the room.
Okay.
And then basically once that's all on like this, just make sure they're all on.
Yeah.
And then this, we'll bring this in. Just going to raise that up a bit. So we've got, let me show you. So you've got three entry points.
Yeah.
You just want to line them up with these. And then there's a little catch here.
Yeah.
You just pull that down to unlock it. And then it goes in, you twist and then let go. Okay. And that's now in. So
Sounds
now
good.
we have our softbox on the light. And we'll come back to that later when we do the setup.
Great.
Just to show you guys the difference this has made in terms of the light. So if I turn that on now, like you'll see just even at 100% how much softer that is.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
When we have this on. It's not blasting like the sun was.
No.
And I can already see on your face what a difference that's making.
I know. My face that's...
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say good.
So Kirk, I'm just going to show you basically how to collapse this light in case you want to pack it down.
Yeah.
Basically you just unvelcro it and then you literally just click them off like that and then do the rest and then it'll just fold away.
Yep, sounds good.
To where it was. And you could just leave that on if you wanted. But yeah, that's that. I think the trick to this is that you want to get these lined so they're perfectly horizontal to the clip. That's the trick.
Okay.
Like you shouldn't really be hurting your fingers doing this.
No. Okay.
So I don't know what you were doing.
I was trying to get it in the camera as well.
This is called an egg crate. So essentially what this does is when we put this in with Velcro, like so, this essentially is controlling the light even further. So rather than it just spilling everywhere, this essentially homes in the light even further. So rather than it spilling onto the background, this is essentially just going to be on you because these are guiding the light onto you as opposed to it just going everywhere.
Okay, steering wheel for the
lights.
Essentially,
that's a good way of describing it. And why we do that is because if you've got quite a big, powerful key, you might not want that spilling on the background because it's lighting it where you don't want it. Right. And essentially that's why we put this on. Okay. And that's the egg crate. Okay. Right, so this light comes with a remote just so you can access its functions. Okay. It's fairly straightforward. You just need to match the channels on the back. So 15A, 15. And then essentially you can just set the brightness to go up. So that's going up. You can turn it off, turn it on, so you can have that by your keyboard. And then that way you don't have to, because if we mount it fairly high, you won't have to access the back.
And it's good to see what it looks like from a distance as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the remote.
Okie doke.
So next piece of lighting, Kirk, is an RGB light. Now RGB is basically colour. So this is an LED panel which is essentially diffused already. So unlike our hard light, this is basically a diffused light built in. It's not going to be really harsh, and that basically means that it's quite slim, and it will look lovely and soft already.
Okay. Why go to the trouble of having that and that?
So something like a big softbox will still be softer than this.
Okay.
So if we put these side by side here,
yeah,
this will still be harsher than the softbox.
Okay.
Because of the way that it's working,
yeah,
this will just naturally be harsher, even though it's soft.
So the softbox is better.
Yes.
But this is another sort of
it's just
option.
another option. Like you could put that there and then diffuse it again, and that would create a very soft light. But really, we kind of picked this light because it's RGB. If we wanted to introduce colour, which you might see later. But we're going to explore with that.
Okay.
So let's plug it in.
Yeah.
So if you want to start unwrapping some stuff.
Yeah. And there'll be different lighting for different kind of pieces of content we might be doing. So for example, Zoom, there'll be different lighting, different things we can use, presumably.
So essentially there's a concept which is 3-point lighting. Which you could use all the time, which is essentially we're nearly going to be doing that. We have got 3 lights. We could use this, so we'll use our key light first, which is what illuminates the subject. But then you could use this as a backlight or a background light, a rim light. There's so many different ways that we could utilise this light. Right, so once you've plugged the main cable in, that just goes in there, and then you've got your on button here. Now if you have batteries, so they just slot in here, but in this case we're using mains, so you just switch to the mains power, like so, and now that's on. And you can see already how soft that light is.
It is, yeah.
And that's essentially just because it's an LED panel with already built-in diffusion. But we'll see how bright we can go. I'll change that in a minute. So basically what we do to turn the brightness up is we'd select this, which is our percentage. Yeah. And then we just go...
Okay, so the FN1. Yeah.
And every light will be different, but
what's the difference between FM1 and FM2, FM3?
So that's function.
Okay.
So this is our percentage, and I'll just show, like, you can see how much brighter that is.
That is.
Yeah. But still very soft compared to what the other light was.
Okay.
Without the softbox, I should mention. Right. So function basically just means you've got 4 panels, and they're basically just telling you which one is which. So that's to do your power of the light. Next we have green and magenta, which is GM. You shouldn't really need to touch this. Okay. But for example, if you wanted to take make it more green or make it more magenta, you would then go plus or minus depending on what you were trying to achieve. Okay. Yeah. But really, I think we won't need to do that. No. So we can just leave that alone. The next function is white balance, and this is how cold or warm the light is. So if I flick this over, and then basically I'm now changing how orange or how cold the light is. Yeah. And that's essentially so we could match to outdoors, or whether we wanted a warm, cozy feel. Yeah. That's essentially what that's doing.
Okay.
Plug in the power cord and switch on the mains power. This particular light has 3 modes: CCT, HSI and scene. CCT stands for correlated colour temperature. This controls brightness and colour temperature, allowing you to adjust between warm and cool lighting. It also includes GM for green magenta. You can use the FN buttons to control each input. FN1 controls the brightness levels. To activate HSI mode, which is what we want to use, you need to press the mode button and select HSI. This then allows you to change the hue, which is essentially the colour. You can flick through and decide which colour suits your setup best. So the reason we got this light was essentially because it has RGB, which is essentially colour.
Okay.
So we can pick any colour on the RGB spectrum.
Yeah.
So we can go from purple and
it would essentially make the wall behind you that colour.
Yes, we're going to go for like the back wall with this in a certain colour.
Yeah.
Could be your brand colour, for example.
I was just thinking that would be amazing.
So that would be red pretty much.
Yeah.
And we could light that up on the wall. On this, it's not looking that red, but if you put it on us, it's looking quite red.
Yeah.
So that's this light, and we'll get that out later and have a more in-depth look.
That's the most exciting light you've shown me.
Good. The last bit of the puzzle is the bracket on the back.
Okay.
That just slips into there and then just pushes up like so, and then that's on, and then that goes onto the spigot as well, and then you can rotate it like that.
Okay.
So we can select the angle.
Yep. Sounds good.
And then to release that, if you wanted, you just press that button with a bit of welly, pull that out like so. And that's that. So next we're going to put this on a stand. It was slightly different to the last one, so you just want to make sure that's all clear. This light stand, small rig one, comes with this little attachment.
Oh yes, yeah.
This light will not fit on this until this is on.
Okay, so you need the attachment.
Exactly. Yeah. So that basically just goes on there, and this is essentially the spigot.
Yeah.
Once that's on, that will then go in there, and then you just lock it off like we did earlier, and that's that.
Sounds good.
I'll just do that now, so it's done. So this is another RGB video light, way smaller than the one we saw earlier.
Oh, okay. Right.
But it is quite...
The one that changes colours.
Exactly, the one that changes colours.
Why do we want a smaller one?
Essentially, this will allow us to get quite close. And if we wanted to light something in the back of the room, like a picture, we could literally just place that underneath. Okay. No one would really know it was there, and it will be quite punchy.
Okay. So this is going to go on the other small rig. Exactly,
the other stand that we've purchased. And yeah, it will just be a really nice little addition to give us versatility.
It's good for being portable as well. If we go on location or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that basically just goes in there, and then you might put that into a portable battery pack. To mount this simply just screws on to the ball head mount, but that's pretty much it, and then you can swivel it around for the desired effect. The controls on this are quite simple. You have an on-off button and then off. So turn it on, and then one changes the colour and one changes the brightness. And that's it for getting your light stands and lights set up. We're not worrying about placement just yet, that comes later. For now, everything's out of the box, built and ready to go when you are. See you in the next episode.